welcome everyone to another edition of Football 101. I am Joshua D'Amato. So after 55 games and 142 goals, the Euro 2020 is finally over. Yeah, shout out here. And in the finals, it was Italy versus England. Italy coming out with victors. So we're going to be spending the next half an hour talking everything Euro 2020. And we'll also touch on a certain Argentine footballer that won his first major trophy for his country. I'm not alone on this set. Joining me, I have Nicolai Madre, our sports journalist. We have Jeremy Bridgenat, an Italian fan, and David Lucky, an English fan. Guys, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here.
It's great to be here again, Josh.
Yeah, so only one place to start, the finals of the European Championship. We waited an entire year, longer than we should have. But it was Italy versus England, and in the finals, Italy came away victors by 3-2 on penalty kicks. If you don't know how it went, Shaw scored in the second minute, then Italy equalized in the second half, went straight to extra time, no goals scored, went out to penalty kicks, and Saka was the person I would say that missed his penalty kick and gave Italy the victory. So guys, let's start off from the beginning of this game with the formations. We saw Italy with their same team. I mean, you just know what Italian side is going to come out on paper. But with the English, we saw a little bit of change.
Yeah, the Italians stuck to their game plan. They know exactly what they were about from the beginning of the tournament. We saw it through their whole campaign. They stuck to what they know. They played brilliant football throughout. Knew when to press, knew when to hold back, knew when to sit back and absorb pressure. And, you know, they found the back of the net when they needed to. And kudos to them. They played great. England, they were there a little shaky in the game. At some point in time, yeah, they started off well, good goal to show. But again, the game was great. It was a great final and a great competition overall.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that stood out to me, like you said, that second goal, that was the first time in this entire competition that Italy actually went behind since the European Championship started. And that was one thing I always wanted to see how they reacted. And the initial reaction, Jeremy, wasn't a good one, because in the first half, you could say England came out better as it pertains to the possession and the play.
Absolutely. They weren't ready for that mindset that England came out with, that attacking. England took the game to Italy. And Italy were having their way throughout the tournament. You could say Spain gave them a good run for their money. But England really came at them. And Mancini got his tactics right in the second half by taking off Bmobile. He was so predictable. He couldn't break down that England defense, and they were more mercurial now. So it really unlocked England's defense, and they had no response for that.
Yeah. I just want to say nice jacket. You know, you're kind of shining the rest of us up on this set, but I understand, you know, Italy wins, so you have to...
Of course.
Yes. But David, like I said, with that starting formation, a lot of the English fans throughout this entire tournament was asking to see a more attacking side of England. And we always saw that defensive side of England in most games. Only probably in the the semi-finals, you kind of saw a perfect performance, you could say, from England. But in this game, again, we saw Saka not being in the side, and another defensive player was put in, and Southgate went to a back five. How you felt as an English fan seeing that he's starting off already on the defensive?
I mean, you have to kind of give him credit for what he's done. I mean, he definitely has, you know, transformed the England side as it is, you know. I mean, going from, you know, your Frank Lampards and your Terrys to where he is now, where, you know, there's a bit more camaraderie in terms of the squad. I think the chemistry he's been performing with is better, and definitely with the starting lineups. Yeah, it's not what we're accustomed to, because we are someone who somewhat attack heavy, I would say, you know, with Kane, Sancho, Grealish. But definitely, I mean, he's utilizing not only the defensive aspects, you know, with Declan Rice and Henderson and these guys, but, you know, he's, you know, taking it to them on the flanks with Walker and with Trippier. So it's not to say that he's extremely, I wouldn't say he's defensive minded, but he has a total defense in mind, but with the press counter attack on the back foot.
Yeah, one thing was interesting to see was, I know you're a Chelsea fan as well, to see the battle of Mount and Jorginho. We all know everything runs through Jorginho with Italy. And it
Definitely.
was really nice to see, you know, a lot of commentators were saying, should he put a teammate, you know, Mount may not want to injure Jorginho, but then they were saying when it comes to, you know, club and country, it's totally different. What are your thoughts on that battle?
Yeah, I think that, you know, the mindset from international to club is chalk and cheese at the end of the day. You know, you want to rep your club, but at the same time too, you know, the patriotic drive is definitely there a lot more. And with respect, I think it would be even better that, you know, you put Mount on his side because, I mean, you're training with this guy every day. You know his tactics. You know how he's going to operate. He's going to be the guy on the field to be like, no, do this, do that. Jorginho's going to do this. You know, he's going to get it in the players' minds, what they need to do, how they need to counteract against him.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a really great game. And correct me if I'm wrong, but in that first half, you saw Harry Kane play a somewhat different role than I've seen him in this Euros. He was coming a lot deeper for the ball and actually creating his own space and then providing for Sterling. And, I mean, as Southgate seeing that they were on at least for the first 20 to 30 minutes before Italy started to get back in the game, why didn't he see that and then add to that, you know, bring on a more flourish player coming onto the second half, Nikolai? It was something that, to me, had the advantage, but...
Yeah, Josh, I think Southgate sat back a little bit when he got the goal.
But he got the goal in the second when they're going to sit back for 18 minutes.
But what I'm trying to say is he got comfortable and thought that, okay, well, he would build on it throughout the game and didn't look to press one time and add a next one and put the Italians and really pressure the Italians and put them on the back foot for the first time for the tournament and catch them really unstable. But what he tends to do is they kind of set back and allow the Italians to grow into the game. And with that, we know the Italians always bank on getting something and they know they only allow one goal for the game and they would look at it as that was the one goal. We have the rest of the game to go out and get ours and, you know, take the game towards the English team. So, I think he kind of got it wrong in terms of not doing certain things at certain times in the game, especially applying the pressure. But again, the Italians know when to do it, and credit to Mancini for knowing when to implement certain tactics. As Jeremy said, that, you know, he made certain substitutions and that added to where the goal came from. Credit to Chiesa. He had a brilliant tournament and he had a brilliant game. Unfortunately, when he came off, you know, that gave the English some hope that, you know, the star boy come off now, maybe we could actually take the game to them a little more. And that's when they came out. You saw the English team get a little bit more energy at that point in time. But at the end of the day, they stuck to what they know and they defended well. And it's hard to break down that backline of Bonucci and Chiellini.
Yes, someone looking impossible.
I'm glad you mentioned Chiesa because I thought that if he had played that entire match, we wouldn't have gone to extra time.
I agree. I mean, because at the end of the day, sorry to cut you off here. No, I was just saying, with Chiesa and Insigne, I mean, they were running the press. I mean, at the end of the day, like the minute that Maguire or anybody in the middle got on the ball, they were there. They were pressing that ball, and you saw plenty of times where Maguire just he didn't know what to do. He just had to clear it, halfway up, point it up the field. You know, and, you know, that was kind of what was going on. Chiesa was the driving force behind that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we're going to take a short break. When we come back after the break, we're going to be talking more. We're going to talk a little bit more about the actual penalty shootout and what Southgate could have done differently. So we'll be right back after these messages.
You're watching ACTN, The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
Welcome back to Football 101. So, guys, we saw at the end of the first half, it was 1-0 to England, but Italy definitely were on the front foot by the end of that first half. And it only took about a little over 10 minutes. In the 66 minutes, we saw that Italy leveled up through a rather old force, but strong force. And we saw that as soon as that happened, Southgate went on to make certain substitutions. Do you think that it probably was a little bit too late? Do you think that probably within the first half, because you know Mancini, he knows his stuff and he will make his substitutions when needed. Do you think that it probably was a little bit too late, even though with the substitutions, it still was a little bit defensive, you know, bringing in the likes of Henderson into the squad? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Southgate had in mind an Italian team that could only score one goal. And he was hoping that that would be it. Perhaps they go to penalties and take a gamble from it. To me, he was comfortable going to penalties. And that's all, well, it's a gamble.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they lost. So
Yeah. Because we saw with that substitution, he basically went back to reverted to a 4-3-3 when he took off Trippier. But again, I mean, throughout this entire tournament, I mean, people might think I'm just totally for Southgate not being the English coach, but I just can't see a side with Rashford, with Sancho, with Grealish on a bench, and they playing 10 minutes, like really.
Yeah, for me, Josh, I think that, he had more attacking options and he had moments where he could have took the game to the Italians and
pull the trigger.
And actually put them under pressure like you said, the legs of Bonucci and Chiellini, would he be able to keep up? Would they be able to keep up with the Rashford and the Sancho and the Saka as well coming on and changing the dynamic and the pace of the game? We didn't see that. We saw a more strategic approach defensively to basically kind of rally out the game, as Jeremy was saying before too. So I'm not sure if that was the best mentality to have at that point in time, especially in our finals where, this is something where you wanted to bring home and everybody basically back home singing, you wanted to come home, but you didn't do the things to snatch the trophy. You did the things to kind of, like you say, gamble and hope that you get the title at the end of the day.
Yeah. Jeremy, let me ask you, what do you think was the difference that Mancini did going a goal behind? What do you think was his mindset going into that dressing room, and then what he would have told the players as it pertains to the game plan come second half?
well, I think he told them that it had to go to Rome. And he realized what he had to do. As was mentioned, Immobile, he's so direct. He's a penalty box striker. He plays like that in Italy. Very rarely you see him take the ball, dribble. But with the substitutions that he made, taking him off, and he brought on a Berardi, you just didn't know what these players would do. And that's where Chiesa started to shine more. You saw they were attacking more from the wings and coming in. And that made the whole difference to me right there. And I don't know, I could ask, if Rashford and Sancho started that game, you think Italy had a chance of winning?
I think it boils down to a question of starting Rashford and Sancho and even Saka. I mean, Chiellini, obviously, he had his hands full with Saka, I mean, he had to practically drag him to the floor every single time he was on the ball. They had to literally put 3 men on Saka every time he was such, a lightning bolt on the pitch. Kane, as you had put it, was there for support to kind of just, set Raheem Sterling free and those kind of things. I don't think with a high attack, a high what's the word?
High press.
No, not high press. With the high energy. Sorry, a high energy attacking force. I don't think they would have been able to cope with them. I think they would have lost a lot of legs. Trying to keep up with Rashford and Sancho and Saka.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I find like in the game, you have to start Sterling. You scored how much goals already in the tournament, so fine. But by the 60th minute, it's okay to take Sterling off. It's okay to take him off, bring on a Sancho. It's okay.
He was visibly tired.
Yeah.
That was what I was not about to ask. Sterling was nowhere to be found in the second half. Throughout the game,
he was walking around.
Well, he disappeared. I mean, even later on we get onto the penalty shootout, that he was still on the field. He's one of the more senior players there, and he was still nowhere to be found. I mean, for the likes of what he is and what he is in England, for the caliber player that he is, I think that he was supposed to stand up more. And even if you, as a coach, you realize that this player isn't really performing well in the final. Again, he didn't really perform that well in the Champions League final. No, he was in the Euro final and he didn't really step up to the plate. Southgate's supposed to say, okay, well, maybe now is when I bring on a Rashford. He never had this experience in a final before, like at this high stage. Let's see what he could bring on and let's show the world what he could do. But I think it was a little hesitant. I mean, bringing him on, we'll get to this later on, just to take the one spot kick. I think that was unfair for a player. So I mean, Sterling was supposed I would think he was supposed to be withdrawn earlier from this game.
I think, Southgate is a creature of habit. He has a plan. He wants to stick to it. He's always been like that. Ever since he started coaching with Middlesbrough and going into the England under-21 setup. I mean, it's not to say that he doesn't trust these guys or he doesn't think that they're better or worse than any other players. It's just a matter, he has a game plan. He wants to implement it. He wants to stick to it. He's been with these guys in the under-21 setup. He raised all these guys on football. He started everything with them. So I just think that he just the plan's gonna work. This is how we're gonna do it. This is what we're gonna stick to.
Yeah. Well, as we were talking about the penalty shot, let's dive right into that. One of Southgate's quotes, I think it was yesterday. He said, "I decided on the penalty takers based on what they have done in training. That is my call. It's totally up to me. We worked through them in training. That is the order we came to. We knew they were the best takers, and we left it all out on the pitch." He's getting a lot of stick, as you said. Bringing on Sancho, bringing on Rashford in the last minute of the game. Yes, we know they are attacking players. You want them to take some of your penalty shots. At the end of the day, both of them miss, so too Saka. What's your thoughts? Because a lot of people are saying, they're professional players. They don't need to warm up to take a penalty. It's a kick. That's all they need to do. Others are saying, no, they need to be in the game. They need to at least get their blood flowing. What do you guys take on in the entire penalty situation?
Yeah, Josh, I think it is a recipe for disaster when you just bring on someone just to take a spot kick. The emotions that was built within the game and the passion and the aggression, the
intensity.
The little battles that you would have, the bad mind you might have towards a certain player because, there was at your whole game, so you just want to make sure, you just stick it to them in the penalty shootout. All those different factors you'll be missing to go into the final kicks, especially knowing that with him saying that he wrote down for Saka to take the last kick even before. Would you put the pressure on a teenager that at that stage, knowing that the weight of this competition, the weight, what it means to England, why would you not put one of your more senior players to take it?
To be honest, I think he's honestly lying there.
Yeah,
and he's just backing up his players so that he will take the blame.
I think that Saka stood up and said he would go because nobody else wanted to go at that point in time, and they were just looking at each other, and he was like, he took up the ball and took up the mantle. I mean, after Rashford missed his penalty, and then, Sancho missed his, it was like, all hope was doom and gloom. Yeah, Pickford made the save and it could have sparked something, but who was the one who really wanted to go and take that penalty? And I think the young lad actually stood up and said, I would go and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he walked, and it's just that the coach would take the blame now for the side. But I mean, I don't think on paper you would have your teenager taking the last kick.
Yeah, I agree with that, because it's one thing to be in training and taking penalties and being in one of the biggest games of your career.
And this was the biggest game of any English player, not even club. This is like
definitely
the highest that they could reach when it comes to pressure.
So to me, a good coach will say not discrediting what Southgate did, because it did reach commendably far. But at that point, you have to say, listen, I need someone with a little more composure and exposure. Look at what happened to Mbappe. Nobody thought he would miss, but pressure can get to you.
Yeah.
You could be one thing in training, but when it's all on the line, you need ice in the veins.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
unfortunately, he didn't have it.
Yeah, I think Roy Keane was really harsh on saying, a Sterling or Grealish should have stepped up. And then we saw that Grealish actually came out and said, I said I wanted to take one. The gaffer has made so many right decisions through this tournament, and he did tonight. But I want people, I won't have people saying that I didn't want to take a pen when I said I wanted to. So clearly Grealish wanted to, but I mean, I guess we would never know the real story. We'll have all of our
I
options.
wouldn't doubt that Grealish wanted it. I mean, we see the kind of confidence he plays with, and we see the kind of confidence he has, what he injects into the English team. I would say that maybe he really wanted to take one as well, but I guess they had other options and other plans that they wanted to go along with.
Even when I saw Maguire, I was like,
Yeah.
Fire. I was like,
An inch more, and that post was gonna get rocked.
yeah.
But surprisingly, that was the best penalty.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he broke the camera, but at the same time too, I don't agree as well with Southgate's approach to taking off Henderson. You brought him on. You didn't bring him on for a defensive approach. You brought him on for stability. You wanted him to settle the lads. You wanted him to get more passes, and his passing was horrible for the game. He wasn't doing what he went on there, and that goes to show. I mean, he was injured. He was not. He wasn't playing at his best. But at the same time too, you brought him on for the purpose of settling the boys.
Yeah.
Keep him on. Why are you taking him off to bring on a nervy Sancho, a nervy Rashford? This is millions of people. The world resting on your shoulders. You know how the England fans are. They're gonna chew these boys and spit you out. The disgusting racism that's going on with accompanying it and these kind of things. At the end of the day, could they have made better decisions? Yes, but Southgate, again, he's still a young coach. I'm really glad to hear that he's still going to be with them for Qatar. I'm expecting big things out of them for the World Cup. And it's really, as much as they want to say anything about the players and their misses and things, it's going to be all on his shoulders. It's going to be for him to prove himself. So let's just hope his shoulders could remain broad.
Yeah, definitely.
If I could say one more thing though, I think we must give credit to the goalkeepers.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, yes, it was a saved penalty.
Yeah.
You could have a penalty that is unstoppable, but credit to Donnarumma because he made the save.
Yeah.
Correct.
Had he gone on the opposite side, we would have been having a different conversation.
I mean, he's also like 10 feet taller, but still.
That's what I was about to say. His size alone is intimidating. He went the wrong way for Rashford kick, but because Rashford wanted to put it so much wider than the keeper,
I think he was just in 12 different minds, He just didn't know what he wanted to do,
So I think, people aren't commenting much on the fact that Donnarumma made the save.
Correct, yeah, absolutely.
And they need to take some pressure off of these young guys because they were just trying to do what they were asked to do.
Yeah, definitely.
This is England only won 2 out of 9 major tournament penalty shootouts.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new for them to
It's skeletons in the closet, yeah,
nothing
definitely.
new to exit through a penalty shootout. But like you said, the goalkeepers came out big. Pickford brought them back into the game for the last kick.
With Jorginho, I'll save it. Yeah, no problem.
So we were treated, to me, even though I like Italian football, it was an amazing game.
Yeah, definitely. And viewers, I know we spent a lot of time talking about England, but we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to give Italy the due time that they do deserve. We'll be right back after these messages.
You're watching ACTN, The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
Welcome back to Football 101. So again, congrats is in order to all you Italian fans there. Actually now on a 34-game unbeaten run. 34 games, that's insane. I have to start off with the Italian supporter here. They didn't get that jacket from
Mancini sent this to me.
Oh, you sent it to you? Okay, good, nice. What's next with this Italian team? We know we have Qatar coming up in less than 2 years. The end of next year is the next World Cup. Realistically, how do you think Italy's chances are as it pertains to this World Cup coming up?
I think they have a good chance again. Of course, you have a lot of different teams in the mix now with World Cup, Brazil, Argentina. These are the big teams as well. But they can do it. My only concern going forward is with the agent Chiellini and Bonucci.
You sure the agent? It didn't look so much.
Well, reality sets in at some point, and you don't want it to be at the World Cup.
Yeah.
So this transition period, they have to find one player or two players who can step up and probably play alongside Chiellini or Bonucci to take over the reins going forward.
All right.
But they do have a good chance, and I hope to see great things from Italy if they continue.
Yeah. But after this competition, who do you think we should give more credit to? Is it the players or do we give more credit to Mancini?
I think it was a collective effort. It was this Italian team. You see, it comes from within the dressing room. We talked about it before the tournament. It was a unit that they have. And usually at tournaments, the Italians do move with a unit. They usually have one or two standout players that show themselves within the tournament.
Right.
But heading into the tournament, we usually rate the Italians as underdogs. I mean, this is their 6th major international title, for a tournament title, right? So with 4 World Cups and now 2 Euros, but yet heading into tournaments, we always disregard them for some strange reason, or like not wonder what they will be only until they reach the semi-finals, finals, and heading into the latter stages.
And I think a reason for that too is the style of play you would associate an Italian team with, a very defensive,
Not very attractive football.
Yeah, and Mancini just took that and threw it out the window, and now it's something that I'm pretty sure every Italian player fan was never accustomed seeing.
Yeah. More like a Premier League kind of style that he brought to it. That grit and definitely taking the game to the opposition. The high press and definitely not giving anybody a moment of space or time on the ball. Definitely as soon as you saw it in the game, the minute that England got back the ball, Italy wanted right back, or they were forced to just kick it out of play. So definitely I think the tactical style of Mancini suits and bodes well for Italy's players right now. So I think it's good to expect a lot of things from them coming up in the next tournament.
Yeah, definitely. So
we must mention the caliber teams that they beat on the way to the final. The Belgium, the Spanish team that give them a run for the money, but at the end of the day
they train with the English team that didn't really face any big teams.
No, well, that too, but I mean not only that, but in terms of the kind of teams that they went toe-to-toe with before we were studying, if they were to meet one of these teams, what would happen, and they matched them and they got past them.
Yeah.
So credit to them, and credit to them for winning the title.
Yeah, it was a literal group. I mean, the only time you could say they were outplayed was against Spain. But other than that, I mean, they still came away victors in that game. So like I said, from the start, they started the tournament with the first game, they ended the tournament with the last game, and now the European champions. So
they got Pedri for being the youngest player of the tournament, in their Spanish games.
Yes, and Donnarumma as well being the player of the tournament. Not so often you see a goalkeeper getting that.
And he's like 22 or something.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
We have some good stars coming up in the future.
Definitely. So well on to Italy and their victory. And we're going to switch things from Europe, and we're going to come across South America, where Argentina are now the champions of Copa America, and a certain Lionel Messi finally got that monster off his back, as they would say, winning a trophy for his country. So is the debate over? Is Messi the true GOAT, or are we still going to have that?
I mean, the debate was always over in the back of my mind. It's just that
he's a Barca fan too, right?
You have a reason now that the majority of critics always used to say he never had an international title, he never had a title with his country. I am glad he did it the way he did it, winning in Brazil, against one of the more star-studded teams of Brazil. That was a nice way to go about doing it. Di Maria took his goal brilliantly. It was a beautiful pass from Dippo. That was a well-taken goal, and it was a great...
Yeah, I think everybody watching that game, even if you're a Brazilian, I mean, you would want Brazil to win, but deep down you were glad that Messi finally got that trophy.
Yeah, I think Messi's a guy, Ronaldo has his haters. But Messi's one of those guys, it's like you just can't hate him. Well,
the Ronaldo haters, the people that like Ronaldo probably will hate Messi. I guess when you see it.
But when I look at it, and you see what these guys bring to football, man, we should just cherish that we got to see them play.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And with the GOAT debate, I don't like to get into that. If he was playing for Milan, he would have been the GOAT. But that never happened.
He didn't resign, so you never know. You can try a thing.
Trust me, this Milan.
Well, he signed it fast, no,
Well, maybe, yeah.
But I'm very, very happy that he got something. And people must remember that the World Cup where he didn't win, Higuain basically threw that away from him.
Yeah.
People forget these things, but they remember when you win.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he has something now, and people could just appreciate what we are getting to see for the next couple of years with Messi.
Yeah, definitely.
We definitely might. I mean, this is probably the last time we're going to see them, in a Copa America. Well, this might be their last World Cup. I know Ronaldo said this will be his last international tournament coming to the World Cup. Definitely a sight to behold, to see Messi do what he's done, ever since, Ronaldinho set up that first goal for him, At the end of the day, I definitely would separate certain things with Messi. Messi on the ball, in front of millions of fans, thousands of joules of pressure, everything stacked against him. He's gonna get that ball to the goal. He's gonna get that pass off. He's gonna score that goal. And you have to commend Ronaldo for his his extreme his work drive, his ethics in terms of how he plays the game. Definitely both of them are the most hardworking people in football to stay at the top for so long.
Definitely.
And I'm really happy to see Messi finally shake that monkey off his back and grab that trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see in this tournament, he actually really wanted it. He came away with the most goals, the most assists player of the tournament because he really wanted it. He really wanted it, and I'm glad that this Argentina side, not only that, the keeper, he said he didn't give him a birthday gift, but he would give him the title. And the amount of saves he pulled off for them.
For sure,
He definitely did that for Lionel. So
yeah,
kudos to
definitely.
them.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to see, as I say, the competition between the two, who's better, who's the good. Just enjoy it while we can. I'm viewing Ronaldo as well, being the top scorer in the Euros. They, regardless of how old they get, they still just...
They put the IN team.
Yeah,
They literally put the IN team.
It'll just be really nice to see both of them playing on one team.
Yeah, well,
That'll be every footballer's dream.
PSG next season.
Yeah, never know. Well, thank you guys so much for spending this time with us on Football 101. Viewers, thank you so much as well for spending this time. Don't forget, you can check out the repeats of the show every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and we're back here live next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. I'm Josh Matos, and this has been Football 101, where we bring the field directly to your home.